If you don't mind, I'd dispense with the acknowledgements of the personas who are here because kilala naman tayong lahat. I am glad to be back after my state visits to Brunei, Jerusalem, and the People's Republic of China. In both my visits, we reviewed the sum total of our relations and explored other areas of undertakings that open doors for more meaningful engagements. A clear focus was directed more on economic cooperation and partnership to benefit our people. In Brunei, I met His Majesty Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah, with whom I discussed ways of furthering deepening bilateral relations, particularly through economic cooperation. We secured Brunei's commitment to help develop Mindanao halal industry, especially in certification and in capacity building. Brunei and Mindanao can be twin hubs for the production and export of halal certified products. We agreed to intensify trade and investments and to work closely to further bolster the role of BIMP-IAGA in growing our economies. We also agreed to address connectivity issues to increase air and sea linkages to facilitate trade and commerce. I thank His Majesty's of Brunei's role as a partner for peace and security's continued support for the Philippines' effort to pursue just and lasting peace in Mindanao. We fully cooperate to combat illegal drugs trade and collaborate on maritime and defense issues, particularly in addressing our transnational crimes, piracy, and crimes at sea. To ensure progress in our discussions, we instructed officials of our respective government to immediately work together in transforming this agreed agenda into specific plans and actions. In my state visit to China, I met President Xi Jinping and 3 other members of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the Chinese Communist Party. I met Premier Qi Chang, Chairman of the National People's Congress, and Xiang Lijiang, and Vice Premier Gao Li. In all meetings, we had productive and extensive discussions of the full range of the Chinese-Philippine relations, from trade and investments to infrastructures and tourism, and to science and technology and health. To realize the vision of a deeper and more meaningful engagement, we have opened formal lines of communications between our government and agreed on the full resumption of the regular bilateral consultations mechanisms which were put on hold for several years. With security and stability recognized as necessary conditions for growth, the Philippines and China affirmed the importance of maintaining and promoting peace, freedom of navigation, and overflight in South China Sea. We acknowledge the need to address disputes through peaceful means in accordance with international law. We also agreed to continue discussions on confidence-building measures, including a bilateral consultation mechanisms to discuss immediate issues of concern in South China Sea. To maintain stability, we also concluded an agreement between our Coast Guards for general cooperation to minimize incidents at sea. To combat the menace of illegal drug, we will continue across a broad range of areas, including in capacity building, equipment upgrading, and support for rehabilitation purposes. With the shared objective of achieving greater growth and prosperity for our peoples, the Philippines and China jointly work closely on building on a robust economic agenda. Our government signed 13 agreements, mostly economic in nature, and these agreements provide a framework to which to carry out intensified cooperation between the Philippines and China. In my meetings with officials and businesses, there was a renewed and heightened sense of optimism in trade relations. The friendship rekindled opened a deeper commitments to significantly enhance trade and investments. My talks have resulted in public financing agreements and a private business deals valued at 24 billion US dollars in soft loans we have agreed from other banks. These agreements covering various fields of economic activities are expected to generate 2 million jobs for the Filipinos in the next 5 years. Your government will continue to work very hard to ensure that these agreements bear concrete results that will better the lives of our people. We shall also make sure that the credit facility and the soft loans will be solely be utilized in public financing that benefits all Filipinos. In my state visit to China, signaled a turning point in our shared history and showed that both countries are fully capable of working together for mutual beneficial cooperation, even as we remain committed to settle disputes peacefully in full adherence of international law. In every step that took the Philippines and China relations further forward, I was guided by the bounden duty to protect the sovereignty of our nation and the interest of our people. In all my engagements abroad, rest assured that I will always pursue our nation's best interest, consistent with our independent foreign policy, anchored on the basic tenets of sovereignty, non-interference, and mutual respect. On the personal side, the warm welcome and expressions of the support of our kababayans in Brunei and China further strengthened my resolve to pursue the various reforms being carried by our government. We will harness our foreign relations to the inclusive growth and sustainable development of our country so that working abroad becomes an option and no longer a need for our people. With this, I seek your continued support and cooperation as we strive to introduce fresh initiatives and more endeavors that will create meaningful changes in ourselves, our families, our communities. Salamat. We can maybe accommodate a few questions. Siguro mga 100 okay na.
The first question, Mr. President, is from Edith Regalado of the Philippine Star.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
First question is this. While in China, you declared, you had some pronouncements about severing ties with the U.S., both militarily and economic aspect. Now the question is, when are you going to come out with a written order with respect to the military? And then for the economic aspect, it would affect private businesses and, you know, the BPOs and everything. So, yung side na yun, sir. And then second question, sir. Anuhin ko na lang, sir.
That is the third.
No, second question pa, sir. Second question is this. Is your attitude towards the U.S., does it have something to do with the mirroring case? Has the U.S. ever asked or apologized to you through those years?
I'll answer you the second question.
Sir.
It has not really appeased me at all. Binastos tayo ng Amerika. Mirroring was carrying out explosives in and out of Davao City for several years. He was hosted sa Evergreen Hotel. Hindi siya pumayag na may pasok tigalinis. And for 5 years, he was in and out of Davao City. One day, there was an explosion. It burned the hotel, not nearly, but sunog. And he was brought to the hospital. He lost both of his legs. But unfortunately, the following morning, early on, may naglanding dito sa airport na to, a citation of the U.S. Embassy, at bumaba isang police na gago na taga-Pilipinas, the Colonel, I forgot his name, and some Americans who branded their badges as FBI raw sila, got Mirroring out of the hotel, brought him out, kasi sabi nila dalhin nila sa Makati Medical Center for better medical treatment facilities, whatever. But what they really did was to fly out Mirroring Michael to Singapore and Shanghaied him to the United States. To this day, parang Batman and Robin mystery yan. No explanation. Thought a week after, or 4 or 5 days, Richard Doney, the ambassador at the time of the United States, nagipag-usap sa akin early morning with his aide only, and Mr. Bongo, 4 kami nag-usap, and they promised to conduct a full-scale investigation and committed to me that they will serve me a copy. Sa awa ng Diyos, hanggang ngayon, wala pa ako natanggap ni, baski note lang naman sana. One night, during the campaign, at least that, may card ako sa kanya, I think Bongo was the card. May binigay siya ng card, sabi niya, he was from the CIA. And sabi ko, may I help you? And we talked about the Mirroring case and said that he would see me maybe the day after. And we did meet almost 4 o'clock in the morning. I was very tired from a campaign sortie that night. At ang sinabi lang niya, and these were his exact words, Mayor, pwede ba natin kalimutan na lang to? Can we let this pass, this thing pass? Can we forget it? Sabi ko, wala naman rin akong magawa. I've been waiting for that report, but until now, I haven't. So I really do not know what was the mystery about. So, ngayon, itong Amerika, if they violate their sovereignty, they will raise hell. They go to war. Kung tayo ang ginagawa nila sa atin, there wasn't even an apology or anything. Kinalimutan ko yun. Ngayon, dumating itong naging presidente na ako, and one of the three promises that I made to the people was that I will cut corruption. And I hope it will really. Hindi ako naawa sa akin, naawa ako sa, we will cut corruption, period. Second is, I will fight drugs. And third, I will cut criminality. Problema ngayon, I am faced with a dilemma. We never knew exactly how many at the time during the campaign that, how many people were infected or gone crazy because of drugs. And they knew it because they were there when it was unfolding. Yung 3 million na yun, figure yung ni General Santiago when he headed the PDEA. Hindi ko binilang yung akin kasi until now, we are receiving surrenderies, and I think by the end of the year, it would have reached the 4 million mark. Alam nila yan. And so I was hard-pressed. They knew, they operate a government. God. They knew that I was a mid-term president, that I entered into the picture operating on a budget that was prepared last year by President Aquino for the operation of this year. And I was hard-pressed on everything. And yet they had the goal, these idiots, they would just say, why Duterte? Why is he killing the criminals? Why does he not just build enough rehab centers for 3 million immediately kaagad? It's easy to criticize. With that, they knew that I had no money. I am now operating on a budget. We do not have capital outlay. Ang atin is the maintenance MOEOE. MOOE lang tayo. Pang sweldo, pangtawid na lang itong sa. And that's the problem. And so I ordered a full-scale war. I did not order a police action, but because that would not have enough. So when I became president, I pressed everybody. And lo and behold, we are now nearing 4 million drug addicts in this country. Alam mong ginawa ng Amerika? Ang una-una itong human rights, I know who's that idiot, also another idiot. There were plenty of idiots there criticizing me about human rights. Sinakyan nila an issue of extrajudicial killing, which was not an issue at all. You were here, we were all around. It was not an issue against me. Until the dying days of the campaign, when my ratings were going up, lahat ng basura, and this senator who talks with his mouth with his foot on his mouth, binasura na pati corruption. I said, open the banks and all, you can have. I authorize everybody, go and search for the money. At itong extrajudicial killing. Ngayon, Ibinigyan mo ako ng bond. I was about avoided it, but you gave the window, so ayun. Ito, galit ako sa kanila. Kasi yung 3,000 na namatay, they would like to make appear like an idiot that they were all killed extrajudicially. Not counting the policemen and soldiers I lose every day to fight the drug problem. To this day, the other day, that was the last briefing, and I lost another policeman. Tapos sumunod na itong State Department, another idiot. Then the Office of the President, I don't know whose name was, babae na. Then it was Obama himself. You know, if somebody can give me an answer, I will resign tonight in handwriting. Tell me what was wrong when the United States declared war against Iraq on a pretext of mass weapons of mass destruction. They entered Iraq. They killed Saddam, destroyed the country, killed so many people, only to find out that there was no weapons of mass destruction. Tell me if it is right, because I will resign. Any man here in this room would stand up before me and say, it was moral, it was right to kill a leader of a nation, wipe out his people, and have the gall to criticize me about human rights violation. They undermined Libya. Libya is a failed state. They are eating Saddam slowly. Were it not for the fact that China and Russia are supporting Syria. Why? Why? Because if Assad is out, they would have destroyed the entire Middle East. Why? Maybe oil. Why? Stupidity. Another reason, idiotic behavior. Yan ang problema dyan. Kaya ako galit kay Mary because binastos nila ako. Nung tinanong ninyo ako kinaumagan, you were the one who asked the question, isa ka pa. Sabi niya, si Mary na wala. So I called Lasa, who is now the mayor of Hagonay. Colonel Lasa, he was the chief of police at the time. Sabi niya, Mayor, hindi ko alam. So I called General Peña, who was the RD here. Sabi ko, said, ano nangyari? Sabi niya, Mayor, hindi ko talaga alam. So, what do you call that? Is that respect? Mutual respect and papahigil mo muna ako, uminit na inom lang ako ng tubig. Ikaw kasi marunong ka talaga mapainit na makatulog ngayong gabi. Ikaw na. Tapos sabihin din yung Amerika lives by the values of what? Whose value is it? Your value? Our values? Because if there is one thing that they don't really want to, if there is one thing that the Americans have failed miserably, it is in the province of the human dignity. Dali kayong basta kung just like Obama, during the Laos meeting, I was here. I answered a particular questions, ano gawin mo pagka i-raise nila yung extrajudicial. Ano sinagot ko sa inyo? Huwag ninyo akong bastusin kasi pag bababuhin ko talaga kayo doon. Did I mention Obama? But when I said the following day, because it was fed to him, those were hurting words with the president. Hindi ko nga siya pinansin eh. And he didn't even bother to say, no, I was wrong, Duterte. I thought you were because my idiotic group also told me that you said this and that. I never mentioned his name. And so what I did was, during the roundtable engagement, sinlabas ko yung picture ng massacre. And somebody, mga bright itong Pilipino, and even in that anchor something, there was this group of Filipinos. You know, it's 1 century ago. Those are not my words. Before the election, I tried to reach everybody. Norm Iswari, the communist. I went to Murad, there, ng panan doon sa kampo nila. I talked with Jafar, and we talked again here. But I said I was not satisfied. I tried to reach out to the Abu Sayyaf and to the radical groups. And to, bantay ka dyan yung mga scholars. They do not carry arms, but they preach fundamentalism. And he told me, Mayor Duterte, we can talk to you, but we will not negotiate peace with you. Why? Because the Americans are still there in your country. We see so many of them, the special forces, scattered all over Mindanao. And they are here to finish us through your... They are there to advise your troops how to wipe us out in the face of the earth. Kaya sabi ko, I cannot even talk peace. This particular massacre did not happen yesterday. Sabi lang nila, hindi akin yun. Sa mga scholars. We cannot forget it because so many, sila ang dapat sisihin. The Filipinos at that time, mahirap lang, pobre. We didn't have that camera. They all got those pictures of killings, massacre, piled bodies, with the soldier putting his foot on the breast of a woman. Ginawa nila, even as a postcard, at kinuha niya nila na yung mga bright na kinuha yan doon sa archives nila, hindi sa atin. So, gano'n. Tapos tayo dyan. Yan.
The last question.
May idagdag pa ako. Kaya ako, pati pa itong iyo di puta, isa ring ugok, some lawyers of EU, nulat-tulatan ako that I could be, ang masakit dyan, ganito, putang ina nila. When they criticize me, and all of those guys who appeared before the international networks, they would say this, Mayor Duterte, you must account for those who were killed, blah, 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 blah. Remember that if you do that, we will cut the assistance and the aid money. Putang ina kayo. Ganon kaliit ang tingin ninyo sa amin. Pumunta ka dito, ipakain ko yung dollar mo. Sila, bastos yun eh. Kaya if I react in the manner of a Filipino na galit sa kanila. Kaya ako nag-iinsulto ng tao. What is there to defend my integrity and the integrity of the people of the Philippines? Ganon ninyo, paano ang mga Pilipino sa labas? Nandiyan na nga, nagpakahirap na, tapos that we will cut the assistance. Putang ina, iilo ninyo yung pera ninyo. You know what is an ilo? That's a piece of paper. When you run out of toilet paper, you wipe out your ass. God damn it. Bullshit kayo. Why am I saying this? It sounds the height of vulgarity. You started it. You give me 10, I'll give you 20. Bakit niyo sabihin na we will not give the aid unless you... Who are you to say that to me? Bastos ka ba? Sabi ko sa inyo eh. Do not do that kasi bababuin ko kayo. So now, the doors are open again. There's a window open. Eh talagang bababuin ko kayo. Unstatesmanship. I am not running for any statesman. There's no position in this planet statesmanship. You can eat it all. But I have a country to protect and the dignity of the people. That's why I give back to you full length of what you want to say about me. So let us place ourselves in the proper perspective. Assistance, USAID, you can go to hell. EU, no wonder you are in shambles now. You cannot even agree to be together or not. Whether to form still in a European community or disintegrate. Why? Because your lawyers of planet are all stupid and idiots. I'm ready for the next question.
Next question is from Ina Andalong, CNN Philippines.
Good evening, sir, and welcome back. In China, you announced a separation with the United States. What exactly, sir, do you mean by separation? And what actions, if any, will you take to formalize this pronouncement? Specifically...
You know, you have to take my words in the context of what I've been saying all along. It's not severance of ties. When you say severance of ties, you cut the diplomatic relations. I cannot do that. Why? It's to the best interest of my country that we maintain that relationship. Why? Because there are many Filipinos in the United States, Americans of Filipino ancestry. Why? Because the people of my country is not ready to accept. I said separation. What I was really saying was separation of a foreign policy. In the past, and until I became president, we always follow what the United States would give the cue. What he would give the cue that we are there, we follow, pasunod-sunod tayo. Hindi ako magsunod. Now, for example, Russia came out with a statement that this mentioned that I had a talk with Medvedev, and they are ready to extend any and all assistance. So that if I would like to have an atomic bomb, and if it is given to us, I'll bring it here. That is what it means. But I would like to thank Russia for understanding us, my problem, and they know also that how hard I am in dealing with the economic stress of my country. And for them, it was a very nice human gesture. To the Russian Republic, salamat po.
Last from me, sir. The pronouncement has raised concerns or questions on what it could or how it could impact existing deals like the VFA or EDCA, the Mutual Defense Treaty, and also concerns from Filipinos in the U.S., sir, working there, and
yes,
those hired by U.S. BPO.
That's what I said.
Do they have anything to worry about?
Yes, I have nothing about to worry. I worry that they would not get out of this country, that you have to force them. That is my worry. Why should I be worried? It will affect EDCA and the rest of the agreements? Maybe. But I have to consult the military, the police, and everybody. Because at the end of the day, it is all security. No?
Sir, yung sa Filipino workers hired here, they're here working for American BPOs. Do they have something to worry about?
Well, how about the Americans working for here also in the Philippines? If I should worry about the Filipinos, this is also about the Americans here. And their investments and all. That's why better be careful with the word. We separate or severe or diplomatic relation. The second one is not feasible. Why? The Filipinos in the United States will kill me.
That
is why I am not going there. Not in this lifetime. Tayo na, inaabuso kasi tayo ng mga walang.
That ends our press conference. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Nomar? How about the young lady? The blue shirt. You'll have your time. Alam mo, nagpapakpak lang ito kaya inaantok na to. Galing kami Beijing.
Hi sir, also in Beijing, you announced the alliance, you're eyeing alliance with China and Russia. Apart from these countries, what other countries are you looking for to have alliances with?
So many alliances really actually. Alliance is a generic term. That there is so many agreements, so many treaties to talk about. What is very important is that we have agreed to help each other economically. But the bulk of that burden would really be coming from China. Look at what happened. They just gave us 13 billion. So it's not easy to just give so much money to a debtor na walang siguro. But the fact that they have the trust and confidence for us to pay on a long-term soft loan that would give us the drive, the impetus. Public-private yung mga bangko ng mga laking company naghiram rin. It will be published. I'm sure those are things which are not confidential anyway. And on a personal note, yung among usapan namin, you may ask me some other time because it's late. But I would be able to answer you at least some, but not all.
Sir,
Security matters, that's not a proper subject matter.
sir, follow up. There are some people na nagsasabi na you are announcing your separation from US and yet you just announced alliance with China and Russia. Hindi po ba conflicting yun dun sa lagi natin sinasabing independent policy, foreign policy? Your thoughts
May I
on
look
that, sir?
at you for a moment? It could be, ma'am, a military alliance. It could be an economic alliance. It could be an economic bloc. Separation of my foreign policy. That it need not dovetail the foreign policy of America. That's what I meant actually. Even severe is to cut. Separate is just to chart another way of doing it.